Hey there, neighbors. It's Sean from the Peterson Real Estate team, and I want to give you a quick little update of what's been happening specifically here in South Mississauga, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into the market overall that Mississauga has been experiencing. So let's get started. So what I've done is I've looked at the past sales in the last 31 days. That gives us a good indicator of exactly what's been happening, especially since COVID-19 has hit. So here in South Mississauga, there's been 54 total sales, and this is all home types. You'll see here on the left-hand side, the average days on market for those properties were 28 days, the lowest being 1 day on market and the highest being 151 days on market. Of course, the average price being 1.2 because there's such a large mix of properties and the majority of those being detached, and of course, even the luxury semis that you see popping up in the area. So that's a very interesting thing to look at. You'll also notice that on average, 97% has been the sold price compared to the asking price. So in general, people are saving about 3% off the top. Again, these are all averages from a very small sampling, but it still is very in line with what we're seeing overall. And just over here on the right hand side, out of the 54 total sales, here in the area, 12 in Clarkson, 16 Lakeview, 6 in Lorne Park, 9 in Mineola, and 11 in Port Credit. 3 of those being condo apartments, 14 condo townhomes, 31 detached homes, 5 semis, and 1 piece of vacant land. So this is what's been happening here, specifically in South Mississauga. A lot of activity in the Seanmar townhomes, since those are essentially the last remaining affordable properties here in Port Credit. So now I want to show you kind of what's been going on overall in the grand scheme of things. Really interesting, especially over here, is the months of inventory. This tells us whether it's a buyer's, a neutral, or a seller's market. Anything over 4 months is a buyer's market. So detached home sitting at 4.6, and we haven't seen a buyer's market in any of the home type categories for a long time here in the GTA. So it's really interesting to see. And on the flip side, semi-detached condo townhomes, very much still a seller's market. Condo apartments, interesting enough, we are in a buyer's market. And this is mainly due to the amount of people, of course, in condo apartments. So prospective buyers are scared or worried to enter the buildings and the units, as well as some condo apartments aren't allowing showings, which obviously makes it difficult to sell the units, especially side note, if the listing agents aren't doing the proper marketing and strategies that we have in place to sell units sight unseen and doing everything virtually. But that's a whole other topic for a whole nother video. And of course, again, condo townhomes, 1.6 months of inventory. So in a nutshell, what this means, for example, if no new homes came on the market at all, it would take roughly 4.6 months to sell all the detached homes in Mississauga. So that's giving you an idea of what's going on. And interesting enough, the sales price to list price, 96.2, 99, 99, 98, 100, and 0.3, and overall average 96.7 in Mississauga. Again, 18 average days on market, so things are still moving fast. And we're going to get into why that is a little bit here. So again, we're looking at all home types. Everything's continuing to go up time and time. There's always dips and peaks happening throughout the market. Detached homes, because of the higher price point, they've taken more of a hit. But even then, if we look at, we take these off, we look at the average, we're still above the 2017 peak where everyone was going crazy. So average, we're still doing quite well, even after this drop that COVID has caused. So here we are looking at 2019 homes listed versus 2020 homes listed and of course sold. So at this point last year, 48% of homes on the market were selling. And this is another very important stat because everyone thinks that every home sells, and that's not true. So 48 is generally best case scenario for homes on the market. Right now we're at 28%. So even though listings have dropped, as well as buyer demand to keep that even level of where prices are since they've stabilized, still only 28% of homes are selling, and that's very important to remember, especially now. And so there's a whole lot of other factors taken into play, especially when it comes to marketing the properties for sale and making sure that you're priced correctly. And again, we have the strategies to help our home sellers deal with that. Another interesting thing I want to share. So our backend system tracks showings and offers and new properties coming to the market. So I want to show you this real quick. So this week versus the same time last month, so month over month, showings have gone up 149%. Offers are up 158%. Keep in mind this is a small sample group versus a small sample group, so of course those percentages are going to see much higher. But again, it's still showing that things are continuing to gradually increase. New listings are up 38%. Exclusives, not too worried about. And sold, so 72% more properties have sold uh, this this time versus last month. Excuse me. This week versus last week. So again, we know real estate is a long-term game, but we are playing. We are watching everything unravel during the pandemic, day by day, week by week. So this is this week versus last week. Showings are up 26%. Offers are up 17%. New listings up 16, exclusives down. Again, not too worried about that. And solds are up almost 16%. So what this is telling us is now that things have settled, the market's continuing to come back and normalize. At the end of the day, where we were heading, it was another 2017. Prices they were unsustainable, and it was just going to be a complete crazy time again where prices would be skyrocketing and it would again just come down one way or another. It's unfortunate the way that things have turned out in the world, of course. We did not expect something like this to happen, and we've adjusted accordingly. So whether it was this or something else coming out, prices were eventually going to come down. It's just the way the market works. And for you homeowners out there who are also looking to buy, remember the money stays in the market. So if you were expecting to take advantage of the spring market and you can hold on, then by all means do. But if you have to make a move, remember, if you're selling lower than you expected, you're also going to be buying lower than expected. If you were going to sell high, you would be buying high. So that difference in price is all relative. But right now, and especially if you're a first-time buyer watching this, there are some great deals out there to be had. Don't be scared about the list price that you see, because you have a lot more pull when submitting offers. There's little to no competition on most properties now, which is fantastic. We've seen some offers conditional upon the buyer selling their property, which the GTA hasn't seen in a decade. So buyers, don't be scared about the prices you see, because it's the prices that the properties are actually selling for at the end of the day that make the difference. Alrighty. Any questions, please leave a comment. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. My name is Sean with the Peterson Real Estate Team, and we're here to help. So like I said, feel free to reach out with any questions you have. Thanks so much for watching.